Hey everybody, it's October 5th, 2021. What does that mean? It means that Windows 11 is officially released. Whee! Anyway, so here's what's going to happen today in this video. I am going to install the official Windows 11 release on two systems that are not supported. Now, how am I going to do this? Well, I'm going to modify the USB thumb drive that I'm going to be using. I have already done this procedure before back in June. If you want to see what that looks like, then I'll leave a little pop up here for the video where I do the modification. It's the exact same modification that I'm using here to do these two machines. We're going to see what happens. I'm not sure how it's going to go. The first machine will be a very old 9-year-old system with a SATA solid state drive. It already has 10 on it. We're going to upgrade that to 11. The second machine is a little bit newer. It's a Ryzen 2200G system, but it's still unsupported. Apparently, for the Zen architecture, it has to be actually a Zen 2. And a 2200G is not actually Zen 2, it's Zen Plus. So Zen 2 would be the 3000 series. So if I had a Ryzen 3 3200G, it would probably be supported. But in any case, come along for the ride. We'll see what happens, and we'll hopefully have some eye-opening experiences. I will give some thoughts towards the end of the video about what I think about the whole thing. But let's go for it, shall we? Okay, so we're going to do our first scenario here. This is going to be an in-place upgrade from Windows 10 to Windows 11 using our modified USB thumb drive. Now, this particular system is the system that has been featured in a couple of different videos. It's a AMD FX-6100, and I'm going to pull up the information here real quick so that you can see it. There we go. And at the moment, you have 6100, 32 gig of RAM. Here's what's currently on it, Windows Pro. All the both of these installations or both of these scenarios I'm going to show you are dealing with Windows Pro, not Home. Home may be a different ball game altogether. But as you can see, it's 21H1. You can see the build version here, which is actually the latest one. There was a feature or something update that happened in the last few days. So this one's pretty much up to snuff here. So I've got my modified USB thumb drive already plugged in. And what we're going to do here is we're just going to go into this one here. And I will show you here real quickly in the sources here. Notice that almost all of these file dates are from April. Now, if we get down to here's the install ESD. This is the current one. This is the Windows 11 image right here. It should be dated 10/4/2021. All right, so all we're going to do is we're going to go and run the setup. And it's going to go through here. Oh, by the way, also be absolutely sure that you are unplugged from the internet. You want to make sure if you're hooked to Wi-Fi, turn the Wi-Fi off. If you're plugged in with the Ethernet cable, unplug the cable. You want to do this offline. I haven't tried it with it plugged into any network. That's why I make that mention. Make sure that you are not hooked up to any network, internet, etc. while doing this one. So we're just going to hit next. And it's going to go through with the checking the PC. We're going to be bypassing the TPM. We're going to be bypassing the secure boot thing. This is a system from 2012. It's unlikely that it has secure boot on it in the first place. I didn't check the BIOS for that to be certain, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. So we're going to just hit accept. It's going to go through this here. This is the part saying we want to skip looking for updates on the internet while doing this. We want to make sure we do this offline. So we're just going to have to wait a little bit here. I may have to fast forward this a little bit in certain spots. to get us through this. Okay, so you'll notice that right off the bat, it says install Windows 10 Pro. Now, when I ran the setup program, it said Windows 10. Now it's saying install Windows 11 Pro. Keep personal files apps. That's exactly what we're going to do. And all we're going to do at this point now is we're just going to hit install. And we're just going to let it go. I will be speeding up the recording, doing a little bit of time lapse, etc., because I imagine that this process will take a while. So we're going to let it run, and we'll come back to it at the end, and we'll see what we get. Okay, looks like we're headed for our first reboot. And we'll see what we get. Hopefully we get the Windows 11 setup screens after this. Looks promising. I may have to time lapse this or speed this up a little bit to see how long this takes. Okay, we are there. How about that? All right, it looks like we are there, ladies and gentlemen. We have just done a Windows 10 to Windows 11 upgrade on 9-year-old hardware. The FX-6100 motherboard are all from 2012, roughly. So 9-year-old hardware. We're up, we're running. Let's double check and make sure. Let's see if we can still do the, okay, under settings. Okay, so the system option is gone. That's interesting. All right, system, display. Let's see if we can find. There we go. Under about. Okay, there we go. So there you go. FX-6100, 32 gig of memory, Windows 11 Pro, 21H2. There's the build number. So we are there. Now, that's very interesting. So that works. Everything is still here. I'm going to plug in the network cable now and just double check to make sure that a couple of things are still okay. Let's see here. I want to take and remove the flash drive at this point. I left it in there just because. All right, so we have got things are working here so far. Now, if I remember correctly, the widgets, there we go. That's the first thing I want to look at. Widgets, yeah. So that's the thing. You will see this. If you do not have a Microsoft account, guess what? No widgets for you. It's not going to happen. So that's the first thing that's going to be a problem. If you don't have a Microsoft account, no widgets. Now the widgets, I think, is very similar to what used to be, what is it? The news and interest that came through a Windows 10 update recently. All right, let's see if we can get all of the normal stuff working. Yeah, Firefox is set. We're not going to set it for the default browser right now. Let's just check and see. Chrome should work without any problem. Yes, that seems to be there. Okay. All right, so that's no problem. Let's go here to YouTube. And yeah, we've got stuff here. Yep, this all seems to work. No problem there. All right, let's pull up Open Office here. Yep, that seems to work without any problem. So it looks like we're good. All right. So I would say at this point we have reached a successful conclusion. I think that, let me just double check VLC. Hit to continue, that's fine. That should be fine. All right, TeamViewer I'm not going to run. Mozilla Thunderbird I'm not going to run because those two. Well, the Mozilla Thunderbird you have to actually, once you run it, you're going to have to set up the email account, so we're not going to be doing that. Let's see, Malwarebytes should have no issue running at this point. So yeah, we're good there. Everything looks okay. All right, so at this point, our next adventure is going to be doing a clean install on hardware that's a little newer than this, but still quote unquote unsupported. So let's get to that and see what we get. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, so here's our newer system. This is a Ryzen 2200G on a B450 motherboard. And we're just going to make absolutely sure that we're all good to go here. Just double check the system. And we'll go here and give you the particulars here, at least as far as the... So you've got a Ryzen 3 2200G, built-in graphics, 16 gig of memory. Again, Windows 10 Pro is currently on here. And that's the latest Windows 10 build, which is right there. I've already got the drive plugged in, which is here. So all we're going to do is we're going to reboot the system and boot off the USB, and I'm going to wipe the drive and do a clean, fresh install of Windows 11 on, once again, what is supposed to be unsupported hardware using this modified USB drive. So let's get this done. Let's get that down. Let's hit here and go restart. And I will tap the F11 key to get a boot menu. Hopefully it cooperates. Yes, it does. Okay, there we go. Let's try and use the UEFI right there. Should do us. So there we go. Windows. We're going to hit next here. We're going to do the install now. Okay, no product key. Again, we do not have the network plugged in here. We are going to do Windows 11 Pro because I want to make sure that I create a local account, not a Microsoft account, because I don't have one. So we're going to hit next. We're going to accept the license, which is next. We're going to do a custom install. And I'm going to take all these partitions and get rid of them. This is a 500 gig NVMe drive. The previous system was a 500 gig SATA 3 SSD. So I suspect that this install will go faster than the previous one did. So there we go. We're all set. We're going to hit next. And we're just going to let it do its thing. Okay, here we go. Here's our first reboot. Let's see what we get. And we have our Windows 11 setup. Everything is proceeding along just fine. United States, yes. US, in my case, yes. Skip that. Okay, don't have Ethernet. Should be able to continue with limited setup, which we can't do with home. Okay, we're going to put in the typical user because that's all I really care about right now at the moment. And no password. Okay, and here's all the stuff that we need to turn off except for location. So we're going to turn that off. That guy there. That guy there. Not there. And that. And location's the only thing I'm going to leave on. Hit accept. And hopefully we will see a screen soon. Okay, so that was quick. Certainly a lot quicker than the 9-year-old hardware. All right, so there we go. We are up and we are running. So let's go take a look here real quick. And let's plug in the network and let's see what we get, shall we? All right, we got the network plugged in. Okay, so we're good. There's all the stuff. Okay, so hopefully at this point, it will let us go here into settings, and we'll go to, let's see, Windows Update down here. I've moved it around because they love to do that. All right, and we're just going to let it do the check for updates. Hopefully it will find a display driver to install. And while we're waiting for that, okay, there we go. There's all our updates that are started. Here's our AMD driver and stuff. There we go. Everything looks like it's going to pop in here without any problem. And of course, where is, okay, yep, the widgets thing is still useless because you need a Microsoft account. So, yeah, that's not going to happen. All right, so I'm just going to let it sit here and do its thing. And hopefully at some point, like I said, the display driver will kick in and we'll go from there. Okay, so it didn't install anything for the display. That's fine. That's not a terrible thing. It's certainly not anything we have to worry about at the moment. There we go. There's the display here. So once this gets installed, we should be good to go. Okay, let's see if we can get display settings to work. Yeah, it's probably already there actually. So let's go back to 100% scale. Yeah, we're good. There's the resolution. It's good. So that's all good. We're there. Alrighty, I've got some stuff to install on this little bugger. But we'll get to that in a little bit. But that's it, folks. There you go. 2200G, supposedly unsupported. Fresh install. That's all she wrote. So I'll have some thoughts here in a few moments. And, you know, we'll see what happens from there. Okay, so there you go. You saw what we got. Hopefully that was of interest to you. Obviously, the 9-year-old system took much longer to do than I was thinking it was. So that's part of the reason why I sped up certain portions of that. But I wanted to do it unedited as far as as far as what the actual procedure was. The second system went much faster, obviously, but it's much newer hardware. So what do I think? I guess my deal is that Windows 11 is kind of I don't get the point. I honestly don't get the point. You've actually got less functionality. If you don't have a Microsoft account, you're actually, I think, going to wind up with less functionality than you have on 10. The first thing is the widgets thing, which they made some ballyhoo about it originally when they made the press release or whatever it was. If you don't have a Microsoft account, you can't use widgets, so that's gone. there are a couple other things. There's an article which I'll leave a link to in the description. I think it's PC World that did it. That gives you an idea of what's going on with it. It's a mixed bag. It's absolutely a mixed bag. The other feature that they supposedly touted was the Android app stuff integration with Windows. That's not there, at least not yet. So I don't see the point. Me personally, I will probably continue to use Windows 10. I will use Windows 10 Pro. Or if I use Windows 11, I will use Windows 11 Pro. I prefer to have local accounts. I don't want a Microsoft account. I don't see the point in one, quite frankly. But for those of you who are on things like Office 365 and so forth and so on, obviously you've already got one. So, that's fine. And that's what you want to do. Obviously, that's on you. A couple of things that I want to make sure that I mention. Number one, obviously none of this is sanctioned by Microsoft. Absolutely none of it. What I'm doing here is an experiment. I would not do this for a customer. Absolutely not. I wouldn't do any of what I have just done on a customer's old machine. My response is like, get a new machine, or at least get a newer machine that is supported, and then go from there. But if somebody brings me 6, 7-year-old, 5-year-old system that's definitely not on the supported list, I'm not going to do anything for that. It's get a new machine. However, if you're like me, not only do you do PC repairs and so forth and so on, if you're an enthusiast, a hobbyist, which I am mostly, this is an interesting experiment to do. There will be some bumps in the road, I'm sure. It still remains to be seen how many Windows 11 updates I will get or won't get. So we'll just have to see how it goes. In any case, again, if you want to see how this USB thumb drive was modified to do this, please see my video back in June. I will hopefully put it on the screen here again. And, have at it. Just make sure that you have a complete backup of your system. These are spare systems that I've used this on, okay? It doesn't matter whether I screw these up or not. You're doing this on your primary system, or you may only have one system. Be absolutely sure that you back up everything. Acronis, Macrim, Reflect, whatever you want to use. Make sure that all of your stuff is backed up before you attempt any of this. Because if something goes wrong, obviously nothing went wrong here, but if something goes wrong, then you're probably going to be in a world of hurt if you haven't made a backup or an image or something of that nature. In any case, that's it for the video. Hopefully, like I said, it was useful to you. Give it a thumbs up if you would, please. If there's anything that you have questions about, put them in the comments down below, and I will do my best to answer them. Have a good day. And I got to tell you, not impressed. I'm not impressed. Have a good day. Bye.